Two doctors with a digital approach on a mission to demystify AI, breaking it down with new tools and hope. They are the Droid Duo. These are
All right, welcome to episode 3 of the Droid Duo podcast. I'm David Schweidel.
And I'm Appel, and today we're going to talk about AI agents, like what they are, why they matter, and what's all this buzz about.
So this is really kind of taken over a lot of the discussion. We quickly went from large language models, LLMs. Now we're talking about AI agents. We'd seen companies, OpenAI had released their agent mode. I think it was only a couple of months ago. And now we've got full-blown AI browsers.
It's like, this is a difficult part in teaching this, because I'm teaching now, and every day before I go into class, I update everything. Like, sometimes I don't even teach what I thought of teaching. And I even introduced a new assignment this year, like on the spot, ad hoc, and because this is happening, we cannot afford not to miss it. So I think
absolutely.
It's fascinating.
And I mean, we probably plan out 3 months in advance trying to put a class together. This is the challenge with teaching a class like this. Something comes out and you might as well throw out the rest of what you had planned for the semester, because the playing field is completely different. So let's dive in a little bit to kind of the, two of the main browsers that have come out from competing companies. Gil, you want to kind of walk some folks through?
Yeah. It's like really now. It's like, I remember we talked last week on, let's do agent this time because it's going on. And then the Atlas announcement came out, and both Atlas and Comet came out. So Atlas is from OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, and Comet is from Perplexity. And they're both competing browsers. Though they are both AI browsers, they offer kind of different skills or functionalities. First of all, both of them are mostly available on macOS. Comet is also on Windows, but they're promising to release them everywhere. Where the idea is, I've been getting emails should Microsoft and Google be very afraid that the market is going to be taken over by those AI browsers? And my first response to those people was, what's the difference? What do those browsers give us? And I created a table. I'll share it in the links later. I posted it in my own profiles, but I'll share it in the comments to the video on the differences between those two platforms. And what we mainly see, that Perplexity created Comet to be something like their own search service, but on steroids. So it was really very important to them to provide every search result with references and citations. So working on the validation and non-hallucination side of AI, so you can be trusting and sure on what you can use. Both of them, of course, are free. Both of them have their own AI agents implemented. And one of the things, and I'm sure we'll talk about them, I feel like from playing with those, that Comet is much more secure than Atlas. And I've seen a lot of concerns, and we will talk about this. And it's much easier. But I think if you're looking at Atlas, it was nice to see Sam Altman's introduction of it. It's kind of working on something kind of independent. So you send it to find the best tickets for you for a vacation. You just tell them, I want to go to Cancun, and it can go through your calendar. It can go through your habits, to your loyalty cards, to your everything, to design the perfect vacation for you. Or, the example that you were just showing to me, I have this famous chef's dish that I want. Go on Instacart, get the dishes, get the ingredients, and tell me how to do it.
If I look at the two of these browsers, again, just my quick take on both of these is, Comet was made as a kind of accuracy first approach. So it's going to be very well suited for students. It's going to be very well suited for analysts and researchers. Atlas seems like a stepping stone. Atlas seems like another step on OpenAI's path to the personal digital assistant. And if I'm Google, I'd be worried right now, right?
Which makes me think, why didn't you introduce it first as an app?
Because that's not what I think the end goal is with it. I mean, yes, it's a web browser. I have to double click and launch this application. But I remember, I think it was maybe a year or so ago, I posted on LinkedIn a question about, are we going to see the death of web browsers? Are LLMs going to kill web browsers? And are we going to see Microsoft bring back the Cortana assistant? Like, if I'm a Windows user, why do I need to open a web browser in order to find information? Why don't I just have a search bar at the bottom of my screen that I can use? I can either type or I can speak to, and it pulls the information that I want. Why hasn't Microsoft done that already? Right? I want information. I don't want to be told I have to go to different apps in order to find that information. And what Atlas basically does is say, let me smash up ChatGPT with your favorite web browser.
I think, again, it's more than that. It's like, why do we have all those interface tools, right?
Yeah.
We have the browsers, we have a keyboard, we have all those things that...
I mean, I'm big on voice. I think that's where we're going. So you're going to have one super app to rule them all.
I've been using voice with chat for a long time now already. It says like very good speech to text. I broke my shoulder half a year ago. There was a time I couldn't type. And there I started relying on it more and more. It's faster.
Yeah.
It's actually summarizes what I want to say better. I don't have to think. I don't have to edit. I just go. It understands typos. It understands if I say something wrongfully and goes back. And I think it's much more native in a way. So again, goes back to why browsers. Browsers are less native. And most of our lives are now mobile.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be thinking mobile. You got to be thinking mobile first. But again, if I create an app, and I think this is where OpenAI is already heading. We've started to see the breadcrumbs of this with the payment processing that's going to be coming to ChatGPT. I believe they announced maybe a week or so ago. Here is an app that I can search for things, I can compare things, and I can make a purchase without ever leaving this single ecosystem. And if I'm using agents, I'm outsourcing most of that work for things that I don't care about. Just restock my home, right? Like that's my goal. I want you to restock my home. Use the Internet of Things throughout my home, identify what needs to be reordered, what's out of stock, and just place the order and ship it to me. So, I mean, I think you're going to see, I think there's Walmart made an announcement related to OpenAI. Haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but whether it's Walmart or Amazon connecting to one of these services, that's where we're heading.
I mean, I've been playing with Amazon Rufus, and it's like the worst AI platform I've ever seen. But I'm sure they're working on their end, because I've been telling to students that for years, I've been talking about digital and the connectedness and everything, and I've been seeing a path that I told them I think is dystopian, and I don't want to get there. But I'm feeling like we edged a bit now, where in the future you won't have to do anything. The companies will be such a great ecosystem that they'll provide you with everything you want, and you'll sell them your paycheck. You'll work for that company. So, and they'll sell you food, healthcare, friends, entertainment, whatever you need. And if you're unhappy, you just move to the other company, the other services that provide this. And now with Atlas, it's what you're describing. Like, I don't do my purchases. I don't know where did I buy this thing from. I don't know. I trust Atlas to get me the best deal on this item. And the AI to AI marketing is a whole different topic.
And that's will eventually. That's where we're going to end up. But it's a question of what tasks do you want to outsource, right? That's the question is, what are the boring things that none of us want to do, like restocking the refrigerator, restocking the pantry? Well, it needs to happen. But if I put a couple of cameras in there to see the contents that I have, it's like, okay, I can tell you when things are out of stock. I can tell you what you need to order. I can, we'll show an example of Atlas in a second. But to me, the power of Atlas is being able to say, I want to have the Tyler Florence recipe for chicken piccata. I'm going to make that for dinner tonight. Order me everything that I need and have it delivered.
Or again, we've been out of toothpaste for the past week because we kept forgetting buying one. And you squeeze the edge of the toothpaste every time to get some. And this won't happen in this world. but what are you paying for this? You know, when something says it's free,
that's where the privacy question is going to come into play. You know, at some point you go too far with this, we become the product.
Yeah,
that companies are paying for access to.
Yeah, yeah,
but
it's all about access.
Yeah, let me pull up the video that I had recorded. Just, you know, those of you that haven't seen Atlas yet, here's a quick, we're going to scrub through most of this, but it looks like ChatGPT when you launch it. Like, notice it's in a tab, but it says GPT-5. And so, you know, I said, okay, well, yeah, let's do a little bit of research. So I said, okay, I want to look for 3-row electric SUVs. You can see right away, these are all the websites that it's pulling information from. It's saying, here are, you know, 3 options for you. I think it pulled up the Kia, the Volvo, and the Hyundai 3-row electric SUVs.
Yeah.
And
so one thing I also already wanted to note that when you started typing, there's no autocomplete. There's auto thinking for you. Like, here's what you started typing. It's not the sentence you want to say. It's where you want to go. Again, trying to take you for the next level instead of like the boring stuff that we've known. Which is, I stop bothering, by the way, with typos. I just go on.
But, and you know, something else I want to point out is, because this is conversational, and I'm sure that unlike many people that are using chatbots at the moment, I'm happy to put in a lot of, you want to put in a lot of context in order to get the most accurate responses for you. Well, keep in mind, the more context you're providing, the more personal information you're providing, the systems are going to get better at being tailored to you. But that's also what advertisers ultimately want, right? They want to know that I'm advertising to the right person with the right message at the right time. So I've told you, you know, I like Volvo because I've had a couple of Volvos before. And, you know, what about the new Cadillacs that just came out that you didn't mention?
Yeah, what about the other cars that they didn't mention, by the way, which is, again,
so that consideration set is immediately constrained. Right, like if you don't, and you know, there's been a lot of talk about SEO and zero-click, and I hate the acronym GEO, but that seems to be what we're going toward. That if you don't know how to create content that gets visible in these, in these LLMs, you're screwed. Like, your business is going to be hosed.
So I want to take the other side of what you're saying. We get some sort of anchoring here, like priming and anchoring. Like, these are the things that you should be thinking about, and blocking you from thinking about other brands. So brands who wouldn't be able to compete here won't exist. Yeah, it's not that they'll make it difficult to compete, but they just won't exist.
Well, and related to that is the question of, when does this become pay to play? Right, that
always have been.
Yeah, at this stage, it's like, okay, Kia, Hyundai, Volvo are the ones that immediately surfaced. Could Cadillac, because say, hey, I want to show up for somebody searching for a 3-row SUV. You know, I'm going to pay to get included in there. Is that where we're ultimately heading?
It won't be labeled as direct as you're saying it, but the end result will be like that. I've seen some comments in our chats. I think Pamela is talking about integration and security. We're going to talk about that soon. So for AI tools to make money, like Bo is saying, tailored to advertising, that's what we're thinking about. It's the problem. It's not about personalizing, which was what was happening when you have someone that transmits your message, right? This was how advertising used to be. Like, we send a signal to people, but now you have it's not a signal. It's something that integrates with you. It's something based on your needs and your requirements. And the advertising company will say, oh, I have this car I want to sell, and adapt the messaging to David so he will buy it. And then they'll, like, the same way that Netflix have like different ads for Stranger Things, right? Yeah. The TV show, where it will show to people who like comedy, like posters that, oh, this is a comedy, and to people who like action, oh, this is an action series. It'll try to position the car as something that you would like based on what they know of your preferences.
Right. And one thing with these chatbots, it's not just the current search. Like, just with Google, it knows more about me than just my current search. So if I'm using, whether it's Comet or Atlas, and I'm conducting a broad range of activity in there, it's putting together a pretty deep profile about me as a user. So just like right now, you use Google for search, you're going to get served ads that are relevant to that particular search, it's not necessarily just the current search that you're going to be targeted with ads for.
So this is kind of what Lynn Bacon is saying in the comments, like we're already sharing all this information
Yes.
with companies, but this is like the sharing of the information is like more like descriptives. And descriptives are used in advertising and targeting just because we don't have better solutions. Here we have something better than descriptives. There was a time where I tried to have my students put an add-on to Chrome that would monitor their usage and give like the big 5 in psychology, like attributes.
Yeah.
And after trying it for a couple of weeks, I told the students to stop it and delete everything because it was kind of scary what it could collect just from your browsing habits. Think about something
this is more than browsing habits, right?
Yes.
Like this is linguistic patterns. That's going to tell us something about the person. And there is no, notice there is not a prominent stop collecting data button.
There is nothing like that. And again, we've seen like sometimes that even private browsing here or in Google is not really private. And again, those are companies. They are not enforced by any way. And unless we have a whistleblower that would decide, oh, I need to share this information, they're actually using your data wrong, you will not know.
And so, I mean, this is just taking, to Lynn's point, yes, we're already the product. This is going to take it to another level.
Yeah.
And, we'll see. I mean, I think, look, to me, my take, it's a better interface than, showing me 10 blue links. It's that I don't have to do as much work anymore. So it's saving me time. No complaints about that. But it comes with, we've got to be making these decisions aware of the potential risks that we're setting ourselves up for.
Yeah, which goes back to our education podcast from 4 weeks ago, where critical thinking is a skill that people are losing. Yeah. And in essence, you take away critical thinking, you have this railroading of like, these are the options you should consider. And I would be very concerned. Like, not everyone understands what we're saying, that this is not a search engine, in essence. This is something that recommends and really wants to satisfy you, or in the near future, if not already, the advertiser that actually pays the money for this. Because most people, like only less than 5% are actually paying for OpenAI. They need to make the money somewhere.
Right. So, we've talked about the downside. Let's talk about, a more immediate downside that's been pointed out already.
Yeah. So I've seen this post from Andrew Anderson, and I want to thank for this, but like talking about agentic browser as a way of like really opening all your computer to someone online. And, we've seen those white text on white text that you don't see, but the agent will read. And it could be like more and more complex stuff that could be some sort of attacks that he says here, that you open a tab that in the regular browser would do nothing, but in this browser has like a text that the AI reads that says, go to this open bank tab, because you have a bank tab on the other tab, and transfer 5,000 euros. And that's something the AI would be able to do. And like, how would you know that it's not doing it? His response, I need to look at it more closely, but like the response from OpenAI was, watch the AI carefully and click the stop button.
Well, and that's going to.
You've seen how fast those things do, even if you know what it's doing, and 99.99% of people won't know. You won't be fast enough to stop it.
Well, it's not just that, but it defeats the purpose of the agent, because I'm asking the agent to do things that I'm too lazy to do on my own, or that I don't want to do. I'm not going to sit there and watch the agent navigate these pages.
Yeah, certainly. So, you're giving the AI, right? You said we wanted to share your screen of how you do on Instacart, but he was sharing so much private information that we decided it might best not to do it live here. And it's the same with this. So if even simple stuff like Instacart, are making you so vulnerable. So, like, what again? When you open your bank account, when you go to your Social Security or to your mortgage pages, or all this information will be shared by the company. Even
like all of those companies, all of the financial services companies, every year you get a privacy statement from them saying, here are the regulations that we have to follow.
Yeah.
OpenAI doesn't have such a requirement.
They're not a financial service,
Well,
according to them.
yeah.
You know, Google buys 70% of all credit card transactions in the US. Their companies are paying so much money to get any knowledge you have about your purchases, about your behavior. It's something we call share of wallet in our marketing discussions, where, you know, I want to know where you buy your other products from.
Yeah.
And hereby you just give them access to everything. And I'm kind of concerned. They're not a mature adult company that, you know, I feel like it would be safe to give my information to. And like, I doubt there is a
I
company
raised
like
the question. Keep in mind, I've got somewhat strong views when it comes to intellectual property and the way that it's being used by these AI companies. But
yeah, I think we share those.
You know, Sam Altman said to regulators, well, we couldn't do this unless we used copyrighted material. Well,
yeah,
if that's
we have
how
to break the law. The
we
law
have
is
to break
stupid.
the law. Well, if that's how
I really want to steal that car.
No, I really want to build this product, and the only way I can build this product is if I steal something from other people. Okay, well, if that's the attitude that you have with regards to data from other companies,
yeah,
what assurances do I have that you're not going to use my data and either incorporate it into something that's beneficial for you but not me, or just sell it to the highest bidder?
No, I will gamble that they will do that. There's no way you can block this. So these are actually, so what you're saying in essence, that Andrew's concerns are like minor things. That the bigger thing is that
this is a technical, what he's raised is a legitimate technical concern.
Yeah.
But just how's our data going to be used? What rights do we have with regards to it?
Yeah, so nothing.
Right, like those questions haven't been answered.
No, and we think it might be Google, or what do we care if someone knows my browsing habits? We don't really understand what people are doing with this. And again, this is not cookies on your browser. Like we've fought so long to remove the cookies, and like now Google says that they might not. And now we have something that's not general or not like clusters you into their graphic group. We have something that's super knows you really well and willing to connect to any advertisers that will pay the money.
So I mean, look, I like tech as much as anyone else. I'm excited to see where this goes, but we've got to do it with our eyes open.
Yeah, and again, I like people are saying that the other browsers are afraid. I want to see a bit like how it goes. We were having a nice test behind the scenes when we started this meeting.
I couldn't share my browser. Like I couldn't share the screen, just the window when I was trying to show Atlas. So there, it's not at the same level as the more mature browsers yet.
And talking about mature, there are lots of stuff that it would censor. Like
yes.
It would not. We were looking for racist jokes that it would not let you find those. Again, we're not interested in the topic, but like other areas that about discrimination, about propaganda and stuff like that, it will not search for those things.
Adult content. So yeah, among those
90% of the internet is gone. Yeah. So it's a question of what are they trying to do here? And like my concern is maybe it's like engineers thinking like what next cool thing we can do instead of thinking about what are the customers' needs that we need to answer.
Well, again, this looks like it's a step toward personal digital assistant, right? A personal agent that, and I've got some of the work that I've been doing is looking at, what's the difference if you own the agent versus you're paying another company for access to the agent that they've created.
So I want to hear a bit more about that, like because you've been showing me some cool stuff you've been doing online with agents, and I wanted to share with people your experience. Like, how did you start with it? Like, you don't code.
No, I used to be able to write like MATLAB code.
I do R, but like you don't do SEO.
No, but like computer software, absolutely not. And so I've been hearing about some of these coding agents. I said, okay, well, let's take a look. Like, let me see how far can I go. I'm teaching a class right now on AI agents, and I said, okay, I want to include one of these coding agents as an assignment in my class. So as I'm putting together the assignment, I figured, let me learn how far can I take it. And it turns out that you can go pretty far with it. I've talked with a couple of engineers at some of the companies that I'm working with, and they both came to the same conclusion or the same recommendation, which is for brand managers, for product managers, if you want a prototype, these coding agents are phenomenal. When it comes to actually putting something into deployment within the enterprise, that's another story, because you've got an existing tech stack and you're probably going to have to rebuild from scratch. But if you just want to get something off the ground and test it, these tools have made it incredibly easy in order to do that. So the one that's on the left, this is based on research I've done with Thomas Reuter and Martin Riesenbichler on using AI to create search engine optimized content. Now, this we had done we started this back in 2019. And what the research relied on was saying, we want to create content that is in the same style as what Google has determined good content to be. That is, our goal was make content that is more likely to land on the first page of search results. So that involves scraping the current search results based on keyword, based on location, calculating a similarity score on different metrics, generating a bunch of different variants and deciding which one of these variants is going to be best. And I was able to create kind of a basic version of that research and create a website, connect it to Stripe, and say, if you need search engine optimized content, here are 100 first drafts that are generated for you in a matter of minutes.
Again, you built a whole service based on a paper. It doesn't have to be your paper, by the way, like maybe pushing more people to read academic papers in marketing, but you build it based on your paper. How long did it take you to build this from ideation to launch?
Off and on, a couple of afternoon, evenings, not too long. I'd say no more than 10 hours total.
For an unskilled web page builder,
yeah,
and that would have probably cost you thousands, if not more, dollars to get someone else to do.
Yeah. So
over months.
For entrepreneurs, or if you've got an idea, you don't have to just say, okay, I'm going to sketch it out now. You can literally build that MVP. The one that's up on the right here is the marketing knowledge assistant. And this one is, I wanted to build a digital twin of myself. I think the future of education, I've said before, is going to be an expert's knowledge condensed into a digital box, and they can present it to anyone, anywhere. And so I built a chatbot. It's a RAG-based chatbot, but it includes my research and includes transcripts from my teachings from the past semester. And then I connected it over to 11 Labs voice API. So it's got my voice patterns associated with it also. So you can either have the text exchange for marketing related questions, or you can have an actual conversation. And I don't think this replaces the faculty, but I teach asynchronous classes, or I teach accelerated classes. This is going to be something that I can give to the students, that instead of saying, oh, just watch this asynchronous video, now you can say, okay, have a conversation with this tool that's going to assess your knowledge and kind of personalize the exchange to your particular level of knowledge. So I'm excited about what these agents offer.
So Google's Portraits was doing something similar, and I'll put a link on this now, but this is Google again, and they have lots of money and can do this easily. How long did it take you to create the twin? How long did it take it to collect the data and everything?
The twin took a little bit longer. Like the basic RAG model, the text-based RAG model worked fine with no problems. I was being a little finicky with the visual display when it went into voice mode, and so I probably spent as much time there. But it took maybe 5 hours to build the core of the twin, and probably if I take out the time me playing with the graphics, maybe another 3 hours to get the voice stuff working as well. The challenge for these is I've put restrictions in there just to kind of curb abuse. But the only thing stopping me from saying, let me put this out on the public internet for anyone to be able to access is just the cost associated with it of the API calls.
Yeah. So it's like insane that we can actually do those things today.
I mean, this is where I think students should, I'm going to change one of my classes to basically be vibe coding entrepreneurship. Like your goal this semester, do the market research, come up with the idea, build it and launch it. Right?
I have a good friend here, Professor Mike Tedeschi, that teaches exactly that course. I think it's one of our best courses, and he's an amazing professor. And this is what we need to teach. And I didn't want to say this, but I'm kind of worried about business schools today. They're not teaching relevant skills that could get students a job.
No,
this is what they need to know.
I had a student in my office yesterday. He's taking my AI agent toolbox class, and he's going to be taking a sales job. But he realizes, look, the big opportunity for me is if I know this tech, and the guys who are more senior in the organization don't. I'm going to be able to do stuff to either help them, or I'm going to be capable of doing stuff that they're not capable of doing. So this is not just for people that want to go with the entrepreneurial path. This is for anyone that, you're thinking about going into an organization. What are you going to be able to contribute to that organization?
So I'm worried about this changing from point of difference to a point of parity, where like everyone would need to know this.
Absolutely. I think
need to make sure.
I think that transition is going to happen faster than people are comfortable with.
And it's going to be like graduating from a business school without knowing how to use Excel or PowerPoint.
Well, I mean, one of the things I've talked with some of my friends about is saying, why not put a panel of experts in your pocket?
Yeah.
Right. It's like, okay, you're graduating from business school. I need a finance professor. I need an accounting professor. I need a marketing professor. I need a management professor. And I want to call on them whenever I've got a business question.
And at Emory, you kind of did it, right? With the agent TA that you have. Like,
we have a virtual TA, but that's course specific. That's not blended. That's not pulling on like what I'm talking about is saying, you ask a question. I'm going to go to each one saying, okay, give me your opinion, but which of these is the person that I should be putting more weight onto? And then that's what's going to drive kind of that conversation.
So what do you think prevents business schools from doing this now?
Inertia.
It's like,
I mean, there is a legitimate concern that's been raised about kind of the value that our students expect from us. We're paying X dollars for education. What do we want in exchange for that X dollars? And I think, I've said this with Coursera. Coursera is $50 a month. I think you get more than $50 of value per month out of Coursera, but there's a big difference between my pre-recorded videos on Coursera and sitting in a class and having a discussion, right? That is not the same experience. AI is going to bridge that gap.
In some schools, if you calculate per session, it could cost like $400 for a student to sit in your session.
Yep.
How do schools manage to provide such high value when they're not even willing to learn this type of skills? The professors don't know them. As you were telling about the seniors in the company, like I doubt that, 70% of business school professors can teach those things today. It's easier in marketing by definition, but like, again, it's really hard. And how do we make sure that we're providing good value to our students?
Well, the market's going to speak, right? At some point, if we don't adapt, students are going to say, this isn't worth it for me anymore.
Yeah.
I've been Chicken Little. I've been worried that's going to happen for the last 15 years. That our value proposition isn't there. I'm now 15 years closer to retirement, so I'm a little bit less selfishly. I'm a little bit less concerned, but I'll take the role of parent. Is it worth it to send a kid to school for somewhere between $70,000 and $100,000 a year?
No, you're going to spend $500,000 on your kid.
Right, but is it worth it? Today, I still believe the answer is yes, depending on the career path.
It's worth it to send to our classes, I guess, but not to all.
But this is the question that university leadership is going to have to grapple with. Like this is the reality that if I'm capable of building these tools with a couple of hours in the evening, imagine a driven high school student who's got an idea.
Oh my God, yeah. We're going to see the first vibe coder unicorn, solo unicorn coming without even noticing it.
Right? Like that's the threat to universities is the best students, the ones that we really want to have at our schools, in our classes. We're not going to see them because they don't think the value prop is there anymore.
And I'm worried they might be right.
Well, and that's currently a conversation that's above my pay grade. We get to control what's in our classroom. We get to control the content that we teach.
I think both of us both of us are trying to push more than that. We're trying to change how education looks like, because we need. I feel responsibility. Like I'm not supposed to collect my paycheck.
The folks, those of you that know me know that I'm an Aaron Sorkin nut. So one of the shows that I loved watching was Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. And there was an episode where the network president was trying to land a show that everyone else was saying was too smart for TV. And she prepares this speech about Pericles of Athens, who said that all good things should flow into I don't remember if it was Boulevard or Avenue, right? That's how I see education. We've got expertise that should be shared with as many people as possible. AI enables us to do that.
So I want to finish on a positive note, because we were talking about trying to give people something to take away, like how they can do immediate something on those AI agent builders. And I thought of doing a pixel cat Tamagotchi, and I'm going to paste the prompt in the chat. But they don't want to copy it. So the idea is go to your favorite tool or platform or whatever, and just paste this, and the idea will create something that does this, creates this Tamagotchi toy that you can play, but it's interactive, and the idea is some sort of IKEA effect, that you create something that you immediately get to see how it works. And this is my example. And
no, this was produced with Gil. This was base 44.
This is base 44. Yeah, but you did the same.
I produced a very similar one using Replit, using literally just that code, just that prompt, and it produced something very similar. Yeah,
and there's actually a link for my cat. If people want to see it, I'll put it also in the chats. But you know what? I can just share my screen and show how it looks like, because then the fun thing about it will also show how simple it was just to type where is it here? It's called the Perfect Pal. And I share my screen this way. And since I'm not using an agent, it's allow me share. Okay, so this is how it looks like. And so it started build one-page pixel pet of a sleepy cat with 3 starts, hunger, energy, fun, and I added later make it pixelated 8-bit style and cuter. But this is the cat, and I can tap the cat to purr. I can feed it, but when it's hungry enough, now it's not hungry. It will change the day and night and everything. And this, you see, the hunger goes down, the energy goes down, fun goes down. So this took, it's night again, and it took, again, one prompt and run it. And
I built a missile command-like game with Replit for demo purposes for my students. But the missile command game was the first one that I built. I built a personalized news feed.
I built custom simulators for students to play with concepts like diffusion models or RFM.
Yeah. I used it to build out apps for events that include, a news feed, a schedule builder, navigational tools. So all of
you're limited by your imagination,
exactly,
not by the technology.
And that's again, it will democratize the creation of apps.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. Now, at the same time, what I've also heard from folks is there are going to be jobs created up for people to basically clean up vibe coding.
Yeah.
And it's different, it's different skill sets, right? These tools
Clean up your mess. This is
these
why I'm kind of
coding
concerned about
agents
vibe
allow
coding.
us to create and iterate quickly. When it comes to scaling, that's a different skill set.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I think like this is where agents are going. They're going to be included in everything, and they're going to just get better. In like one of the definition of agent is you send it and how long it can work before it can get back to you. And this time frame has gone from seconds to hours now, if not longer. And like think about that. It's an agent that would work in a sense indefinitely, which will be along you, predicting your needs, and just going like, oh, you need a ticket, you need to get up, you need to whatever. No wondering that people want to marry AI today.
And that's a conversation for another day.
Okay, I think it's time for our new outro.
All right.
So see you everyone in 2 weeks.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye.